Hi, this is David Barber for the Music Biz on rockoncolorado.com, and tonight our topic is making the most of low-paying gigs. Now, every band has to take a low-paying gig from time to time. It might be a venue or a market where you just don't have a following, they don't know who you are yet, or maybe it's a benefit for a worthy cause that didn't get promoted well, or you know, one of those nights where it snows 2 feet out and nobody shows up and the venue doesn't want to pay you. It happens, okay? So whatever the situation, you need to make the best of it. Here's a few commonly overlooked things that you can do to make that crappy gig just a little bit better. The things we're going to talk about are selling your merchandise, building your mailing list, making an impression, and being professional. Okay? So, selling your merchandise. This is probably the biggest thing you can do if you know you're going in to a gig that's not going to pay well. Okay? Always bring your merchandise with you. It doesn't matter how big or small you think the gig is, bring your merch. If you don't have any merch, and by that we mean CDs, t-shirts, hats, whatever you got with your logo on it, you need to have some so that you can sell it. And the idea is you buy it cheap and then you mark it up and you sell it. Okay? There's a whole revenue stream there that can turn a crappy gig where the venue isn't going to pay you much or anything and turn it into an awesome gig where you make a lot of money. Okay? It does take some time and some cash, especially for a good CD, to get merchandise. But it'll almost always pay off if you bring it to your gigs and sell it. Okay? It's not going to sell well at home, even though it's for sale on your website. You're not going to sell a whole lot that way. Okay? Don't expect to, at least until you hit the big time. Alright? Now, start with a logo. If you don't have one, if nobody in your band is an artist or feels competent with Photoshop, hire a graphic artist. Okay? Or ask your family, your friends, even your fans, if any of them would be willing to help you out with some logo design. It's not that complicated. You know, take the name of your band and pick a font, pick a color, you're good to go. If you've got a CD or you're working on a CD, you're going to need artwork for the CD cover. That's a good spot to start because that's a good place for your logo. So if you got that, you've got artwork that you can then put onto a t-shirt, for example. Price it around twice what it costs to make. So if you get t-shirts and they cost you $5 a piece to have printed up, sell them for $10 a piece. Or more if you think you can get it. If your band is popular and on the rise, ask for $15. Why not? The same goes for your CDs and anything else you sell. And be creative. I've seen bands make money selling G-strings with their name on them. Okay? If you've got a lot of those kind of fans that you think might buy that stuff, it's worth a shot. Okay? Once they've all got your t-shirts, you got to come up with something new. Okay, you can always, when you're looking for a company to manufacture these for you, all you got to do is an internet search for promotional items. And there are hundreds of companies all over the place that will help you out with that. Okay, you don't have to go, you know, if you want to do a calendar, for example, you don't have to go to a print shop and lay it all out yourself. Go to a promotional products company that does calendars. They got that stuff ready to go. You just send them your images and they'll deal with the hard part. Okay? And if you want to get coffee cups made with your logo on there, alright? All you need is the logo. Pick out the kind of cup you want. Tell the merch guy. They'll get them made for you. And like I said, get creative. Keychains, underwear, bathing suits, hats of various kinds, whatever you can think of, whatever's cool now that you think the kids are going to want to buy, that's worth making into merch. Okay? Now benefits, And all ages events are terrific for selling merch. Kids who don't have or aren't allowed to purchase beer, they spend their money on merch. I've seen local bands sell out of merch at a gig where they weren't going to get paid because they're opening for some big national act. As it was, they blew that act off the stage and they sold out all their merch. You know how much money they made? That was huge. I know a singer-songwriter who played a gig. She used to play regularly at this coffee shop, and the coffee shop didn't pay her anything, and there was no cover charge to get in, but she would routinely sell $400 worth of merch every gig. You know, it's worth spending $200 to buy the merch if you're going to sell it for $4. Okay? That's good profit. Good business. Don't forget to mention from the stage where your merchandise is available, especially CDs. I've seen a lot of people leave a venue I work at with nothing because they ask the door guy or the waitress or the bartender, hey, where these guys got CDs? And the answer is, I don't know. And these people walk out empty-handed instead of with a CD that the band could have sold them. And sometimes it's because the band doesn't have anything available, just bad enough. And other times it's because they just didn't bring the merch. They didn't think it was going to be that kind of gig. It's always that kind of gig. Alright, next topic, build your mailing list. Okay? Even if you're not getting paid, you can collect names and email addresses, and you know, these days that means if you got an email address, you can Facebook them, ask them to like your fan page. Why not? You got nothing to lose. It's all you need is a clipboard, a piece of paper, and a pencil. All right, the best way to handle that is to have a band member walk around after your set or in between sets if you're doing more than one and say, hey, did you like our band? Hey, cool. Would you like to sign up on our mailing list? Thank you very much. It's that easy. And if they're not interested, they're like, nah, we didn't really care for it, then yeah, okay. Walk on to the next table. It's not a big deal. They're not going to say, man, you sucked. Get the fuck out of here. They're not going to do that. Okay? And if they are, well, then you can still just walk away. Okay? The next topic, make an impression. A great big logo on a bass drum is a good start. A 6-foot wide banner hung as a backdrop, way better. Right? Nothing more annoying to me than having a friend tell me about this great band that they saw the other night, and wow, weren't they awesome? And I say, well, who were they? And they go, I don't know. That tells me that the band did not do a good job of getting their name across. Okay? When you start your set, tell them who you are. When you end your set, tell them who you are. In the middle of the set, tell them who you are. Okay? And don't forget to mention, and by the way, you know, we are the whatever band, and our CDs are for sale back there at the merch booth, or over here at the table, or we'll be selling them at the end of our set because we don't have a merch guy. Come talk to us. By the end of your set, everyone in the room should know your act's name. Don't be shy. Repeat it at the start and end of every set. Mention that you have merch available. Ask the audience to sign up on your mailing list, and above all, play your heart out. You never know who's going to be in the room. Even if it's a sparse crowd, there doesn't seem to be much energy there. Play like it's a sold-out stadium. Every time. Because you never know who's going to be there. If you're not into it, fake it. Learn how to fake it. Okay? Believe me, there are acts on the road right now making great money and pretending they're having an awesome time every night they play. They're not having an awesome time, some of them, but they know how to act like they are. That's very, very important. I've seen bands where one of the members is just horribly sick, and you don't even know it until they get off stage and say, oh man, I feel like crap. And they, really? Because you just kicked ass on stage. Here's an example. Country Dick Montana of the Beat Farmers died on stage. Died. He'd been fighting cancer for a long time, and he was in pain for at least the last 6 months that he was out there playing. He knew how to make it look like he was having a great time even though he was in pain. He died on stage. Band Love 45 used to play hotel gigs in Denver. They did that before they were signed in order to make money to help pay for recording time in the studio and you know, their promotional activities. Well, one night I was at one of their hotel gigs just because I liked the band and wanted to go out. There they were. And there's one guy in the crowd, and it was a small crowd. There was one guy who loved them. He was just going crazy about how good this band was. And that was terrific. Turns out he worked for a major record label. He was just in town to visit his relatives. Not on business, but he stops into the hotel bar. Wow. He worked for a major record label, and he went back home and told his boss and everybody he could find to sign this band. Now, that didn't get him signed, as far as I know, but you never know. There could be somebody like that who can get you signed at any gig. There's a band called Sucker, based in Vail, Colorado. Actually, a pretty good place to have a band. Very high energy, good band. At one gig, they impressed a software executive who was in town on a ski vacation. He was so impressed that he forked over enough cash for them to record one of their songs in the studio and to make a music video out of it. Okay? The song got used on a popular Nintendo game, and they included the video at the end of the game as a bonus. How cool is that? You never know who's going to be in the crowd. So, always make an impression. Alright, the next topic is be professional. Okay, so it's one of your bread and butter gigs. You usually draw a full house, but this night it's half empty because it's bad weather, big playoff game, or something else you can't control. You know, it happens. Do not let this affect how you play. Play it just like the house was full. Fake it if you have to, but smile and act like you're having the time of your life. Do not get drunk, play sloppy, take long breaks, and quit early because you're in a bad mood. Do not get mad at the door guy, the booking manager, the opening act, or any of the bar staff just because you didn't get paid as much as usual. Force yourself to smile and say, thanks. Remember, the venue staff only made half of what they were hoping to make, too. It's not always easy, but it's very important. There are bands, we won't mention, who've worn out their welcome in an entire region due to their years of repeated unprofessional behavior. Doesn't matter if you're the best guitar player since Jimi Hendrix. If you act like an asshole or a prima donna all the time, word will spread, and you'll be lucky to get coffee house gigs. Okay? So be professional. Now, most of this stuff we've just talked about, it's common sense, but it'll help you take your act to the next level if you can deal with the lousy gigs as well as you deal with the good ones. Thanks. This is David Barber for RockOnColorado.com. Buy the book, Gigging. Everything you need to know about playing gigs from booking to getting paid, except how to play your instrument. You can get it at giggingbook.com.